I want to welcome everyone to our May 26th meeting. Hopefully you all had a great weekend. And if we could get a roll call, please.
Supervisor Boone?
Present.
Supervisor Flores?
Present.
Supervisor Ziegemeyer?
Here.
Supervisor Baines?
Present.
Supervisor Stevens?
Here. And if we could all stand for the invocation led by Pastor Michael Ciociolo of Calvary Temple.
Heavenly Father, author of life and the source of all truth, help us to live lives of generosity and integrity, rooted in your love and guided by the values of your word. Grant that in the service of the Sutter County Board of Supervisors, they bring vision, faith, forward-looking expansion for new businesses, doing their best to improve the lives of the citizens of Sutter County. As the Board of Supervisors gathers today, I pray they will seek your guidance in every decision, protect us from self-interest and narrow agendas, and above all, grant wisdom beyond their own, so that the people of Sutter County are blessed and encouraged about their future. Your word records this: the Lord has told you what is good, and this is what he requires of you: to do what is right, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. We thank you in the name of your great Son, Jesus. Amen.
And if I could have Congressman Thompson lead us in the pledge today. All right, if I could have everyone meet me out front and right out here, we're going to do some presentations.
Will Pastor Michael Ciociola please join the board up front to receive a proclamation honoring a grateful nation of our members? On Memorial Day, we pause in solemn gratitude to pay tribute to the brave patriots who laid down their lives defending peace and freedom while in military service to our great nation. We set aside this day to honor their sacrifices and to remind all Americans of the tremendous price of our precious liberty. In 1992, Michael A. Ciociola, lead pastor at Calvary Christian Center, began Memorial Day ceremonies to provide his congregation and community an avenue to pay honor and tribute to veterans and military personnel who have paid the price for the freedoms we Americans enjoy today. Calvary Christian Center members provide set design, construction, and actors. Over 200 church members participate in the ceremonies. Many Beale Air Force Base airmen volunteer for the construction and community assistance for the Freedoms of Heroes Outdoor Memorial, train medical reenactors, and erect the Alaskan tent for the Afghanistan Field Hospital. The memorial display has developed throughout the years, capturing the tributes and dedication of our great fallen heroes. In 1994, Vietnam Wall, 3 panels. 1995, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier added. 1996, Vietnam Bearcat Field Hospital added, 2 panels added to the Vietnam Wall. In 2001, present 6 panels Vietnam Wall constructed. 2002, 9/11 tribute added, firemen and Twin Towers. 2003, War on Terror tribute, tumbling of Saddam Hussein statue. 2004, War on Terror tribute, honoring current military personnel. 2005, War on Terror tribute, Iraqi voters, the moving wall on display. 2006, War on Terror tribute, salute to the fallen, Freedom's Hero War wall on Terror Memorial constructed in the East Park area. 2007, tribute at Arlington, 4 panels added to Freedom's Heroes Memorial. 2008, present panels added annually as needed. As of 2023, a total of 21 panels. 2015, Afghanistan Field Hospital added. Sutter County citizens and Americans throughout the United States live in freedom because of the sacrifices made by those who have served and by those who continue to serve. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby recognize A Grateful Nation Remembers and Michael A. Ciociola for their contributions to create this exhibit for all of the community to come and pay their respects for those fallen soldiers on Memorial Day.
Thank you very much. We're honored always to take a moment and remember why Memorial Day happens. And I thank the Board of Supervisors for your kindness, generosity, and expressions of appreciation. We don't do what we do for any other reason except to honor those who have given their all for the freedoms that we enjoy. You're able to gather in a room like this, uninhibited. You have freedom of speech, the capability of expressing your opinions and casting, I think, one of the most sacred acts we're entitled to cast and blessed to cast, and that's a vote. You get a voice and a vote. And we're thankful not only to God for helping us, but we're thankful greatly to those who are willing to protect that right and those rights and have laid down their lives for our liberties and freedoms. So what we do on Memorial Day weekend is not for show in the sense of, hey, look at what we can do. It's for honor and respect for every person, all the way back to our Continental Army, to our present day epic fury in the Middle East, where people are putting their lives on the line for all of us to enjoy liberty and freedom. So thank you very much for taking the moment to say thanks. We appreciate you, and thank you for your governance and your wisdom in helping us achieve good things in our county. God bless each one of you.
Lisa Herbert and Representative Mike Thompson, please join the board up front to receive a certificate of recognition for your roles in securing funding following the closure of the Del Monte processing facility. On behalf of the Sutter County Board of Supervisors, thank you for your leadership in securing up to $9 million in USDA assistance to support local peach farmers following the closure of the Del Monte processing facility. Your bipartisan efforts have provided critical relief to growers in Sutter County, Yuba County, and the surrounding region during a time of significant hardship. This funding will help sustain local agriculture, preserve family farms, and strengthen the resilience of our farming community.
I just want to mention that how incredibly grateful we are for you two in reaching across both sides and working with each other, because this was going to be a huge deficit to our economy, our local agricultural economy. We talk to these farmers daily, and sleepless nights worrying about this, and what you guys came to do with your team was incredible. Way to pull the rabbit out of the hat, but way to secure that funding, and we are grateful for your hard work and dedication. Thank you.
I think, you say it takes a village. In this instance, that was exactly what it took. It couldn't have happened without our ag commissioner. I want to thank you immensely on behalf of all the peach growers in the Yuba Sutter area. But you all know, with the bankruptcy of Del Monte Foods and what had transpired, there was still $550 million that was going to come to this community over the next 20 years. But because of their bankruptcy, they lost those contracts just overnight. And this gave the growers an actual opportunity to be able to take the hit. I mean, it's a very, I guess, it was not easy for this community by any means. You know, it's a very sensitive subject. Some folks got hit harder than others, but Congressman Thompson and our ag commissioner here stepped up to make sure that those farmers were given another opportunity, given another chance to fight another fight. You know, this, the funding, when you look at $550 million contracts that were left for the raw product price over the next 20 years, but to lose that in this community, it's gonna be devastating. The negative impact that's gonna take place, $9 million might sound like a drop in the bucket, but again, it's giving those farmers and folks in our community a chance to make it, pay their mortgage, and maybe help them pivot into another commodity. Ag is the backbone of Sutter County, so we're thankful and grateful again for both of you. Lisa, without your letter of support, this was in a time where our local farmers felt that the California Canning Peach Association wasn't even representing them. And on February 13th, we had an emergency town hall meeting where we invited our local and our representatives from the state and also federal level. That, as you all know, we lost a very near and dear friend, our representative, the late Doug LaMalfa. And at a time where our community felt that we were not represented, the Congressman Mike Thompson stepped up and filled that void. He made sure that the growers in Sutter County, their voices were heard, not just here from the state to the federal level. Like was mentioned earlier, he stepped across party lines to make sure that these growers were taken care of and were given some sort of relief. And so I just can't thank you enough. I wish this room was filled with the growers that are gonna be recipients, from this relief fund that you guys, worked on. But again, thank you on behalf of all the residents or all the Del Monte growers, the farming community. These are multi-generational family farms that are gonna be able to, go through another season just because of your effort. So thank you so much.
I'd just like to also echo Supervisor Baines' comments. This happened when we were left without much of a voice in Washington, D.C., and I'm so thankful that you stepped up, and Lisa, you were heard back there, so thank you very much. I know the growers very much appreciate it.
Well, I'll just say thank you very much for recognizing this work, but more important, thank you for the job that you do. It's tough being a county supervisor. These are tough times for agriculture right now. There's a lot of challenges, and it's important to have good people working on behalf of our ag community and our community. Supervisor Baines said it takes a village. It always takes a village. But this crisis would have destroyed the village, not just the farmers, not just the feed store or the gas station where farmers buy their fuel, but farmers are the backbone, as was stated, to our community. The agricultural community makes it happen. And if you hit farmers like that, it's everything. It's commerce, it's the local economy, it's contributions to charitable organizations who do so much for our community. So stepping forward on this is the least that I could do. When you called, Doug and I were friends, and so it was an automatic for me to be able to step forward. And I'm a farmer myself. I know the challenges, and I just want you to know it was my honor to stand shoulder to shoulder with all of you to make sure we got this money. And I want you to know that I'll always be there for you. So thank you.
I want to personally thank the congressman by giving him a hat today. It's the Sutter County Agriculture hat. Sutter County had the most clean peach loss in the state at 2,000 acres, roughly 2,000 acres. So it was going to hit our community more than anything else. So I'm honored to be able to write a letter that was influential at USDA and for Congressman. Thank you.
We got a line of photos.
Will Dr. Liu please join the board up front to receive a gold resolution in appreciation of her dedicated service to the county and the community? The Sutter County Board of Supervisors takes this opportunity to present Dr. Fong Liu, Bi-County Health Officer, with a gold resolution in honor of over 6 years of dedicated service to the county and the community. Dr. Liu began her service as the Bi-County Health Officer for Sutter and Yuba counties on January 13, 2020. Over the course of 6 years, she demonstrated exceptional leadership, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to protecting and improving the health of the community. Dr. Liu assumed her role at the onset of the global COVID-19 pandemic and provided steady, thoughtful, and science-driven leadership during an unprecedented public health crisis, guiding the community through rapidly evolving changes, challenges, and integrity and compassion while strengthening public health system and partnerships. Dr. Liu spearheaded key initiatives, including implementation efforts related to the CalAIM Justice Involved Initiative, expanding access and care, and improving health outcomes for justice-involved individuals re-entering the community. Throughout her tenure, Dr. Liu was a collaborative and dedicated partner to county leadership, healthcare providers, and community stakeholders, earning widespread respect and leaving a lasting positive impact on the public health infrastructure of both counties. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors does hereby recognize and honor Dr. Liu for her outstanding service and contributions as the Bi-County Health Officer and extends its sincere gratitude and best wishes for her continued success in future endeavors. Dr. Liu's dedication, leadership, and service will be greatly missed by the County of Sutter and the residents she so faithfully served.
Well, I just want to say it's been a pleasure the last few years. You know, while all the other counties were shut down during COVID, we stayed open. We had our meetings, people showed up, our churches stayed open, all right? No one was let go because they weren't forced to take anything they didn't want. And that was this team right here, and you helped with that. A lot of people don't understand what happened behind the scenes in the fight with everything you helped keep open and how much the state kept on saying, you gotta shut this down. Nope, we're gonna keep this open, we're gonna keep that open because we feel it's safe, and I appreciate that. You know, I was one of those guys in the beginning, but like I said, watching you battle for us and allowing us to keep our way of life here, that was tremendous. And you fought for us, and we really appreciate that. No one was forced anything, and we kept things open. So thank you and I wish you luck with Sac County. All right, I wish you luck. Wow.
Okay, I just want to add a few words to this. Dr. Liu, I remember the day you started, you know, and I remember the dinner we had, and you scolded the current city manager about eating a huge ice cream, which was great. But the dessert looked delicious, right? I think at that time you even took a bite, if I recall. But anyway, I just want to tell you, this is a bittersweet moment for me. This is a bittersweet moment for the people of Sutter County, because you have served us so well. Your resiliency, your leadership qualities, people know you all over the state. Obviously, they picked you up from us, but you know, bitter because we're going to lose you here, but sweet because you'll be in Sacramento, and hopefully you won't forget us there, and you'll be able to still represent us from your new position. But I want to thank you for the amazing job that you did. And to the parents who I met today, it was an honor for me to meet you. I want to tell you, and you already know this, but you should be very proud of your daughter, which I know you are very proud. She's an amazing woman, and she has really led the county well in her position. And again, we're going to miss her. And again, it was an honor for me to meet you. Thank you for sharing your daughter with us.
Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to mention, you know, like I said, the health and everything, that's one thing. What you've done with the community and healthy-wise and getting everything healthy and putting out everything, that's really beneficial, and all the other things you do with the clubs especially. I think Supervisor Stevens is going to talk about the, what's that? Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, right now, me and Dr. Liu, amongst others, Sarah and others, are looking into tobacco issues and ordinance. And so we know we have a real problem here in Sutter County, and we're looking at possibility how we're going to go forward. And she has assured me that she will stay involved from phone calls and stuff. So we very much appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Sorry, I'd be remiss if I didn't say just a few words. That I'd like to echo what Supervisor Flores mentioned. You're truly going to be missed. That it was an honor to serve alongside you. It was an honor to see you work in action in Sacramento as you presented to the state and down to what you've done for our community. So, like it was mentioned, that we're going to miss you, but at the same time, we wish you the absolute best in the future and can't wait to celebrate many, many more successes with you. So, congratulations.
Yeah, so as mentioned, Dr. Liu started in January of 2020, and at that time, I remember thinking, oh, great, probably meet with her a few times a year and see her at maybe once a month, the health committee meetings, and then COVID hit, and health officers throughout the state resigned. They were under intense scrutiny and received death threats, and it was just a crazy time. I think we can all agree to that. And Dr. Liu, was so resilient. I recall May 4th, 2020, Dr. Liu opened us, Sutter and Yuba counties, up before any other counties in the state. And after that, we had a hard time getting a hold of the governor's office because they were angry at us for opening up what was essentially a week before them. But when people talk about following the science, that's what she really did and does. It wasn't about appearances or just wearing a mask or whatever. So, and throughout this time, you've given talks in Chicago and Washington, D.C., and all over the place and represented Sutter County very well. And I kick myself for saying you're the best health officer in the state. There's no one could be better. That's what I would always tell people when they asked me what it was like working with you, and now you're headed to Sacramento. But you put a lot of hard work in. She's the only bi-county health officer in the state that's full-time for both counties. She's worked so hard for both boards, both CAOs, both health departments. So just want to say thank you so much. And it's a real honor to see your parents again coming down from Washington. Thank you so much for being here. Sarah.
I have to just say ditto because I know we've been up here for a long time, but Dr. Liu has been very personally supportive of me as the Health and Human Services Director. I certainly, in our department, could not be successful without you. I can't overstate how much we're going to miss you. And to her parents, we're so happy to have you here. And she is such a wonderful leader and woman. Thank you so much.
I'll keep this really short. It's been my privilege to serve as your health officer for the past 6.5 years. I especially want to thank each and every one of the Board of Supervisors for your support. It's been several tumultuous, interesting years, so I very much appreciated that as your health officer. And to my colleagues within the department heads, the home department, Health and Human Services, and my home branch of public health, thank you for your friendship, your camaraderie. It's been very interesting, but we never lost our sense of humor while we try to serve the spirit of public servants dedicated to provide the best services for Sutter County residents.
Will Detective Riley Harrison please join the board up front to receive a certificate of recognition for 2025 Peace Officer of the Year? The Sutter County Board of Supervisors wishes to acknowledge Detective Riley Harrison, 2025 Peace Officer of the Year, for your dedication and service to the people of Sutter County. Your hard work and leadership may have made a lasting impact within the Sheriff's Office and throughout the county. It is an honor to recognize your commitment to our community.
Thank you for your service. We really appreciate it. Outstanding. Would you like to?
Yeah, thank you to the county and the board just for supporting the sheriff's office. Thank you to the sheriff and the administration at the sheriff's office just for supporting us. And that's all.
Well said, well said. Congratulations.
Will Sheriff Barnes and staff please join the board up front to receive a proclamation recognizing May 10th through the 16th, 2026 as National Police Week? In 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation which designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which that date falls as National Police Week. The members of the Sutter County Sheriff's Office play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of our county residents. It is important that residents know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency. National Police Week is a time to recognize the men and women of law enforcement who serve Sutter County. They safeguard life and property, protect residents against violence and disorder, and by protect the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression and intimidation. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim the week of May 10th through the 16th, 2026 as National Police Week and call upon the residents to recognize those peace officers who, by their faith and loyal devotion to their responsibilities, have rendered dedicated service to their communities and, in doing so, have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you guys for your service and everything you do for us to protect us. And I'm sure you have a few words.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank the gentleman that you see up here and so many more men and women that are working at the sheriff's office to keep all of us safe. That's very important. But more importantly than that, you know, the true recognition is those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And we honor them during that week here locally and throughout the state. Never forget their commitment, their loss, and what that means to their families and those communities that they serve. I mean, obviously here, last year, we lost Officer Rodarte in Marysville. He is very much a part of our community here in the Yuba Sutter area. That is something that impacted everybody, and officers like Officer Rodarte and many others will never be forgotten by us, so thank you.
Brandon Barnes. Detective here, dispatcher. Have Trump Havey. There you go.
Thank you, guys.
Will Bi-County Ambulance and Sutter County Fire Services please join the board up front to receive a proclamation recognizing May 17th through the 23rd as National Emergency Medical Services Week? Emergency medical services professionals play a crucial role in our community by providing life-saving care and assistance to individuals in need during medical emergencies. EMS professionals, including emergency medical technicians and paramedics, dedicate their careers to providing rapid, competent, and compassionate care to those facing medical crisis, often risking their own safety to ensure the well-being of others. National Emergency Medical Services Week is an annual event that honors the dedication and sacrifices of EMS providers while raising awareness about the vital role that they play in our society. During National Emergency Medical Services Week, communities across the nation recognize the contributions of EMS personnel and express gratitude for their unwavering commitment to public health and safety. The theme for National Emergency Medical Services Week in 2026 is Improving Outcomes Together, focusing on collaboration, advanced care like pre-hospital blood transfusions, and supporting clinician well-being. And it's fitting and proper to acknowledge the significance of National Emergency Medical Services Week and to express appreciation for their tireless efforts of EMS providers in safeguarding the health and well-being of our residents. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby recognize the week of May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Emergency Medical Services Week in Sutter County and urges all residents to join us in recognizing and honoring the vital contributions of EMS personnel. We express our heartfelt appreciation to all EMS providers for their unwavering dedication, professionalism, and selflessness in serving our community, and we extend our deepest gratitude for the commitment to saving lives and improving outcomes during times of crisis.
All right, let's give them another round of applause to our first responders here. And I know we just recognized National Police Week, but between the Sheriff's Department and Fire and Pike County, these are usually your first ones on scene right here. They're the first ones to, not only in comfort, but in help, they're there to lean on a shoulder, to talk through something, but this is the group right here. And I couldn't imagine doing this position. You know, there's a lot of positive, but then there's also negative. And I think they can continue to keep on going because of all the positive and all the help that they're doing. You guys, we're incredibly grateful for all your service, and thank you for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, board, and thank you, everybody. On behalf of Pike County Ambulance, we had a great time celebrating EMS Week with all fire department and law enforcement. Law enforcement's first on scene also. They're giving Narcan, they're providing CPR, they're helping deliver babies, and in all the chaos. They keep our scene safe so that we can come in and do our job. And then our first responders of our fire staff are amazing. I've dealt with them directly. I've taken care of my own family. They're gonna beat us in a lot of situations, and so training together has been a huge thing of what we focused on this week, what we focus on every week. We're gonna have another large training in October where everybody comes out. And the collaborative effort and us getting to have some breakfasts and some barbecues and talk on times when we're not on scene doing something was just amazing last week. And so thank you, everybody, and thank you for acknowledging us.
On behalf of the Sutter County Fire Department, I want to thank all of you for the recognition and the support. And I've been here for a whole month, and I got to tell you, I am truly impressed by the dedication and professionalism by everybody up here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We wanted to be invited to the
Huh?
We'll go to the...
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have one.
We got one more.
Will Janine Marshall, Jim Matthews, Ken Sraw, and Manjeet Rai please join the board up front to receive a proclamation recognizing May 2026 as Building Safety Month. The Sutter County Building Services Division works daily to ensure a safe, resilient, and sustainable built environment. Their dedicated building officials, inspectors, plan checkers, and administrative staff protect the public by enforcing modern building codes. These buildings' safety and fire prevention codes address structural integrity, electrical safety, plumbing systems, and energy efficiency. Resilient building practices safeguards Sutter County families, businesses, and first responders against natural disasters like floods, fires, and earthquakes. Building Safety Month is an international campaign recognizing that safe buildings save lives, reduce property damage, and boost economic growth. The 2026 campaign theme, Built to Last, focuses on sustainable development and safe construction practices, showcasing how dedicated building professionals and enforcement staff actively safeguard the public and strengthen the community infrastructure. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Building Safety Month in Sutter County.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for, I can't imagine how many inspections you guys do pull off in a week or within a month, but you're all over the place, all the way from Live Oak all the way to Riego Road. You make it happen along with the roads and everything else. Well, but thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, just quickly, I'd like to thank the board for the recognition, the continued support. The building team, Development Services and General Services, safety is a top priority for us. I know, personally speaking, we couldn't get our projects done without people like Jim and Janine, who've been instrumental in getting things done safely and efficiently. So thank you very much, and thank you to our team for working so hard behind the scenes.
All right, with that, we're going to bring it back to public comment. Members of the public will be allowed to address the board on items of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors. State law provides that no discussion or action may be taken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. The consent calendar groups together those items. Well, actually, we have public comment.
We do. We have one public comment, and then we have 2 comments for consent item number 7.
Okay.
Our first public speaker is Tony Farley.
Tony Farley, Northview City, 28 Willow Creek Drive. Thank you, Congressman Mike Thompson for his service. Thank you, Dr. Liu. I'll be missing Dr. Liu. Well, good news, Dr. Liu's going to Sacramento. Thank you, Fire, Police, EMS, and Sheriff Department for his service. Thank you to Chief. Thank you, William, the attorney, for his service. Thank you to Calm Down the Marine Corps for his service. Calm Down the Marine Corps. Thank you, Veronica for his service. Thank you, the Ad Commissioner, for his service over the Del Monte incident. Thank you, the baddest funny Sheriff Brandon Barnes, for his service. The peace officer, post officer. Thank you, library clerk, for his service. Thank you, Tina Hesson, Midwestern. Thank you, Captain of the Fire Department, for his service. Thank you, Leanne Link, the German Leanne Link, for his service. Thank you, Jennifer, the DA, for his service, the best DA ever. Thank you, Sarah Barrios, for her service, the best HHS director. And thank you, Neil, the Caltrans director. And thank you, Stephanie and Gina, dispatchers, for her service. And thank you, and thank you, Jeff Stevens, the pumpkin, for his service. I like his pumpkin. I love his pumpkin. Thank you, Darth Vader, the Conqueror's Darth Vader, Dan Flores, for his service. Thank you, Mike Ziegemeyer, the sports guy. Don't forget, cheerleaders. House cheerleaders versus honk cheerleaders versus River Valley cheerleaders. Cheerleader showdown. Mike Ziegemeyer. Thank you, Carmen Baines for his service. Thank you, Jeff Boom, 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 for his service. Jeff Boom for his service. Thank you, Steve Smith, for his service. And thank you, everybody, for his service. And thank you, Michigander guy over there, for his service. Thank you, by comments, and thank you, probation. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks, Tom. Is that it?
Yes, that's it for public
All
comment.
right. All right, we're moving on to the consent calendar. The consent calendar groups together those items that are considered non-controversial or for which prior policy direction has been given to staff and that require only routine action by the board. The chair will advise the audience that the matters be adopted in total by one motion. However, the board may, at its option or upon request of a member of the public, consider any matter separately.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar, pulling item 7 for discussion.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion by Supervisor Bain, second by Supervisor Stevens, with pulling item number 7.
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeyer?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
All right. Next item up is item number 7.
Adoption of a resolution supporting Assembly Joint Resolution 23 Gallagher for the formation of a new state and authorization for the chair to sign.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to open up for public comment. Is there any public comment?
We have 2 public comments. The first speaker is Heather Eastman.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Esselman. I live in the county and in the city. Thank you for pulling that. I don't see how that's not a non-controversial item. I don't know if you understand what's, somebody's already laughing. I read through this. I wanted to, so I know that each of you have your own personal opinions, and even as boards, you hear a lot of information. I'm not quite sure why Sutter County needs to take a stand on this particularly, at least not until you've gotten more information from the public as far as what they would like to have. Just people calling you doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's supportive of this. Anyways, I work for the State Department. I don't know if it's understandable how much money and time it would cost to unwind some of the stuff. Just think CalPERS. Not sure how that would work. So basically, this has to do with splitting us up with evidently Riverside County, and San Bernardino's in there, so I'm not quite sure where the line's going to go, but splitting the state of California. I understand that there's not a lot of representation on the county level, but until you get your vacancies on the boards filled, particularly those that are addressing issues between us and Sacramento, those are even paid. If you can't fill those board positions, what are we doing? Why are we wasting any time on this? I don't understand. I encourage anybody here that would be interested in some of these boards. There's 25 vacant positions just at the county level, not with county city together, and that's just here. Yuba County also requested a report be done so they could split up the bi-county behavioral health that's currently being, that we currently have. I'm on that board. I haven't heard of the result, but I'm sure it was probably not something that they were willing to pursue, continue to pursue at that time, because it must have come out by now, and they haven't told us one way or the other. So if you can't even unwind a bi-county behavioral health system, how on earth are you going to try to unwind everything in Sacramento between, I guess it's just LA and San Diego counties are the ones you're trying to split from. I don't know. Because Riverside has nothing to do with our rural communities, at least not that I could think of. So you also noticed how we lost somebody today to Sacramento, one of our bi-county people. And it's already hard enough to compete with some of these other areas. So I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to look like because Sacramento's not mentioned in there. So I guess Sacramento is supposed to be a county that goes together with LA. And then Fresno is in, what's that seat supposed to look like? I don't understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next public speaker is Tony Farley.
Tony Farley, pro Sacramento region. I'm against this. You're talking Sacramento again. Washington, D.C. is a problem, not Sacramento. I'm a proud Sacramento identifier. I'm against this new state. The Constitution, it's not going to happen. It requires both Democrats and Congress and the state assembly. It's not going to happen. Never happen. It's typical right-wing Nazi stuff, in my opinion. Typical Nazi Germany. And I'm a Soviet communist. I'm not no Nazi Germany person. So I'm against this. As part of the Sacramento region, you would say it's part of Sacramento. You're not part of Chico, you're part of Sacramento. Sacramento's big enough, has no metro area. It's called Sacramento, not Chico Metro. Sacramento Fire Department is a large fire department in the Sacramento Valley. So you destroy Sacramento, good luck having Sacramento mutual aid you guys. That's a privilege, not right. And I talked to Cal, yes, and made their effort, but I talked to McClellan. I talked to Sacramento, like, they don't like this. This stuff is typical nonsense. It's a pipe dream. I call it a pipe dream. I'm tired of this is crap. I'm tired of this crap. It needs to stop. You need to start getting on with Sacramento and stop believing the nonsense out of Washington, D.C. Screw them. I care for the Sacramento region, not D.C. I vote against this. As the will attorney agrees with me. Attorney has enough sense. He's a law person. Is against the law by doing this. It requires you fighting California National Guard in a war. It's going to cause a National Guard war between California military and your fake military. I bet money on the California National Guard military out of Sacramento. It needs to stop. Be educated. Matter of fact, go to law school. Go make George Law School, get a law degree in Sacramento, and make things better. Huh, William? Will knows bar. He's a lawyer. He is a county lawyer. He went to law school. He understands it. You're playing right-wing politics. You need to stop. Or else I'm about to move to Sacramento. It's ridiculous, man. You need to stop, dude.
Thank you, Tony. All right, is that it for public comment? All right, with that being said, we're going to close the public comment, bring it back to the board for discussion. Jeff?
Sure, it'll start up. Okay, so first, this was brought to us by Assemblyman Gallagher, and this is one of the hardest things I've ever thought that I would be put on the board to even consider, because I love California, and it's been my home for 67 years now, and I want it to continue to be my home. When Assemblyman Gallagher called me and to discuss this with me, I told him my concerns, but I also think a lot of Assemblyman Gallagher and what he's done to fight for this state, and he feels like it's necessary to send a message that we want to get this Northern California represented. We're not represented. We don't have Doug LaMalfa now. The governor made it very clear he didn't care about our county or our area when he wouldn't appoint a representative for our area. So with that said, there's many reasons that I want to send a strong message to California. Do I believe it will ever happen? No. I think it's just sending our Sacramento friends a message. We have a lot of things in North California that Southern California and the Bay Area doesn't even understand what we need. And I'd like to have a voice where they do understand what we need. And I want to shout it out loud. I wrote down a few things that were not represented for. Last year, my first year on the board, I went down to Sacramento. James and I worked on a bill that would help our culverts and our infrastructure here in Sutter County. It sailed through the Assembly, it sailed through the Senate, and would not have cost Sacramento one dime. And they ended up saying, or our governor ended up saying, no, we couldn't have it because it cost the state too much, even though it didn't cost them a dime. So we're not representative. We're a farming and timber area in Northern California. Southern California doesn't understand that. We burn up with fires here. They need to hear us and take action. We have water issues. They need to hear us and take action. We have all kinds of water, and yet we can't get storage. They need to hear us. If it was my thought, I'd try to get 1,000 people down to the Capitol so they would hear us. I don't think this is the way to go about it, but James does. So I'm gonna end up supporting this measure just to say, to let them know how we in the North feel. Grant funding. Everything is based on grant funding. Our area gets all kinds of funds from grant funding, but they're telling us how we have to spend it. We have to do studies and environmental studies. That should be done in the local areas. We know what we need. Our schools know what they need. Our education system is broke. We just need to continue to be heard, and we're not being heard right now. Prop 50 really made sure of that. So those are just a few things. I could add more, but I will support this measure.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Flores?
Sure. Yes, I have a statement that I'd like to say. So today I am going to rise in support of this resolution because it's not because I don't love California. It's really because I do love California. My family has lived in this state for generations, and California is our home. Its history, its agriculture, its communities, its people are deeply personal to me. I'm proud to be from Northern California and proud to serve Sutter County and proud of the hardworking people who make this region really what it is. But loving something to me also means that we have to be honest when it's struggling. And the reality is that counties like ours are being asked to do more and more with less and less support. Year after year, the state continues to shift responsibilities onto counties while failing to provide funding necessary to actually carry out those responsibilities. We're expected to solve homelessness. We're expected to solve mental health challenges. We're expected to solve public safety concerns and major infrastructure demands, major healthcare gaps, housing shortages, and countless other issues. Yet those resources rarely meet those expectations. Counties are an arm of the state. We are the front lines of the government. When people need help, they do not call Sacramento, they call us. They walk into our county offices or make phone calls to us directly, all the time, I might add. They expect their local government to respond, and we do respond. Arlen, I know I missed your phone call and we missed each other. When I just said we respond, I just want you to know we missed each other's call. But every single day, despite increasingly limited resources, that we respond. But there's a point where we have to say clearly and honestly that this model is not sustainable. This resolution is not about anger from this board, it's not about division, and it's certainly not about abandoning California. For me, this is about sending a message that rural counties, as Supervisor Stevens mentioned, and Northern California communities feel unheard, and we feel overlooked, and we feel financially strained. And maybe this whole effort is symbolic in the end, and most likely it is, and maybe it never goes beyond this conversation. But symbols matter when people feel ignored. And today, many residents in counties like Sutter feel that voices of rural communities are drowned out by policies that are crafted in Sacramento and other places and away from the realities that we live in. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking for a partnership. We're asking for recognition for Northern California and the fact that Northern California matters, that our farmers, our small business matter, our families matter, public safety matters, our roads locally matter, our healthcare access matters. And most importantly, we're asking the state to remember that one-size-fits-all governance does not always work in a state as large and diverse as the state of California. So I support this resolution because I believe our residents deserve to be heard. I support because local governments cannot continue carrying expanding responsibilities without meaningful support. And I support it because sometimes it takes a bold statement just to finally get attention. I love California, I always will, but loving California also means fighting for the people of Northern California when they feel forgotten. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Anything else over here? All right. So I spent the last 3 days last week down at CSAC in Sacramento speaking with some of the state legislative and the governor's
Legislative analyst.
Analyst, yeah. And actually, CAO Steve Smith and I were there actually Friday. He was there Friday with me. And there's one thing that I came away with at this conference. It didn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican. It was about accountability. It was the fact that all those supervisors in that room were sick and tired that we feel like there is no accountability in Sacramento. You know, I brought up the fact that that bullet train that was projected at $33 billion is now projected at $230 billion. An annex building that was projected at $500 million, $1.1 billion. But yet, we all sat on boards that we have to vote on making cuts. Cuts to senior citizens receiving meals, cuts to veterans receiving meals, cuts to HHS departments. Steve, what was our county jail medical about 7 years ago?
Yeah, before public safety realignment, it was about 380,000, and now that we've had to take on long-term prisoners, it's about 4 million or a little over.
$4 million. And the reason why is because our sheriff isn't running a jail, he's running a prison, a small prison. And we have to take care of that small prison. It's an absolute joke how much the state keeps on selling us down. And I saw it all across the room from supervisors everywhere that, man, there's just no accountability. People are fed up with this. And like Supervisor Flores said, maybe it won't get anywhere, but if you look at the list and you look at the rural counties that are voting for this, they're not looking at it which side of the aisle you sit on. They're looking at it as we're just upset because we don't feel like our voices are being heard. And I mean, we have the ranches, we got the agriculture, we have the water, we have the power, we have the commercial industrial space to build. But yet, all those taxes that we pay, and we pay a lot of taxes, pretty much all of it goes to the state. And what are they spending it on? I know that I receive phone calls all the time, social media posts, saying, why are you doing this? And one of the state senators asked me, well, do you reach out to your representative and let her know what's going on? You should tell him exactly what you said in that speech. I said, I used to talk to Doug all the time, and I talk to James Gallagher all the time. He knows how I feel. All we want is representation that knows how the rural way of life goes. I respect the other cities and the other counties and their areas, but we just have a different way of doing things here. And that's why I support this measure. And I hope it really opens up eyes to the governor or the next governor that's going to be in office, because one thing I did hear is that I believe what the governor's doing right now is going to kick the issue on to the next governor, especially with all the cuts that they're enforcing right now. And they're predicting next year's not going to be any better. They're, a matter of fact, worse. And when you sit on some of these committees, that's the toughest thing in the world, is to make those cuts, especially cuts that you know that are going to help the youth, the elderly, the veterans in your community, all while you drive towards Bakersfield and you see bridges in the middle of nowhere hooked up to nothing. So I ask you that. Reach out to your, whether you're Republican or Democrat, reach up to your legislator and ask them, hey, what is going on? What is going on? Because we're tired of making cuts. We're held accountable, but yet everyone else is not held accountable. And it's tough, like I said, to tell our sheriff and our fire services and our district attorney and our public safety and our roads department, we can't afford to do that. But yet we see how much money is going everywhere else, and I feel like just being wasted. So California is not a one-size-fits-all. We all know that. It is a fact. So that's how I'm personally looking at it. And I'll bring it back to the board and see if there's anything else. If not, we'll look for a motion to approve.
I make a motion, please.
I'll second the motion.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Public hearing to consider an appeal of project number U24-0013, Smith, an appeal of the Planning Commission's denial of a use permit to allow a large outdoor special event facility on an 80-acre parcel in the agricultural Sutter Buttes overlay zoning district for weddings, receptions, birthdays, nonprofit fundraisers, political fundraisers, community, and similar events. A maximum of 16 events is proposed per year with 100 to 850 guests per event. The event facility is proposed to operate Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 11 p.m.
Good afternoon, Chair and Supervisors. Neil Hay with Development Services. So this project and the appeal of the proposed project is going to be presented by our Associate Planner, Ravina.
Good afternoon, Chair and Supervisors. Ravina Soroya, Associate Planner with Development Services. Can we scroll down? So the item before you is an appeal of the Planning Commission's decision on this use permit, which is for a large special event facility. The facility is proposed to be located on the north side of Pass Road. The site is zoned agriculture, and within the agricultural zoning district, a special event facility is allowed with approval of a use permit. The original proposal is for an event facility that can accommodate up to 850 guests per event, with a maximum of 16 events proposed per calendar year. The facility would operate from Thursday through Sunday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. The area located on the site plan shown before you, marked in red, is where the events would take place, and all of the blue delineated is all the parking areas. So there's an existing orchard on the southern half of the property and the event, and there's a residence in the center right next to the event area. So the project was taken before the Planning Commission on March 18th, 2026. During the Planning Commission hearing, 6 people from the public spoke in opposition to the project, 2 people spoke in favor of the project, and the Meridian Fire Chief presented concerns regarding public safety and emergency access. All written comments that we've received since the project was submitted have been included in your staff report as well. Some of the other concerns from the public included traffic congestion, dangerous road conditions, ingress and egress from the site, emergency response times, fire danger, noise, and the large number of guests proposed. So following the public hearing, the Planning Commission did deny the project by a 4-2 vote. The project applicant submitted an appeal for the Planning Commission's decision, which is why the project is brought before your board today. The recommended action would be for the board to either confirm, reject, or modify the decision of the Planning Commission for this project, and staff is available to answer any questions as needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For that, we're going to open up the public comment.
We have 3 public speakers. Our first public speaker is Elizabeth Romness.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. Elizabeth Romness. Long time, lived in the Buttes my entire life. We do not have the resources for this type of situation out in the Buttes. I don't know if you've ever driven out there. Our roads are quite horrible. They don't have enough room for people to get off the side of the road. There's constantly bicyclists, everything going around the Buttes. I live next to the Walnut Avenue Community Center, and we had problems with it coming in, doing, when they were trying to, approve it or deny it, and it's loud. The noise is incredible. Sometimes late at night, my bedroom windows will be shaking. And we were promised that that was not gonna happen at all, and it does. And when you call to get some kind of help, there is no help. We are understaffed, of course, as we know, and it's not their fault. But we really need to think about this, think about the Buttes as a whole. We've tried to save the Buttes for how long? We have to put in what color we want to put our house. It has to be approved by the county in the Buttes overlay. But now you want to bring in 850 people at a time in a fragile ecosystem where there's animals, it's not always the best out there in the summertime. It's god-awful hot. And I just really think you guys really need to think about this. Is this saving the Buttes, which is what we've wanted to do my entire life? Is this saving the Buttes? Is bringing 850 people in? I know we will wax poetic and, we will, have buses bring people in. It's still, let me put it this way. If you haven't known a person that has died on Pass Road, you have not been a resident for very long. I know multiple. My mom has witnessed car crashes out there, and it doesn't take anything. It doesn't take alcohol, but then you put a venue out there where there's going to be drinking, there's going to be all this, racing through the Buttes. I just really think it's a bad idea, and I hope that you guys vote no. Thank you.
Our next public speaker is Margaret Skiles.
I'm Margaret Skiles. I have lived in the Buttes for 26 years now, directly opposite the proposed venue. I have a direct line of sight to it, and I'm concerned, has several concerns. One is noise. I can hear cows mooing across from behind where the proposed site is. I can't imagine that 850 people having an outdoor party are going to be less noisy than the cows. Well, there are a lot of concerns with noise. It's also hard to believe that there won't be an increase in traffic on Pass Road. If you're bringing in up to 850 people 4 days a week from mid-May to mid-September, there's got to be more traffic. That's going to put wear and tear on the roads, which aren't in maybe the best of condition now, although they're certainly adequate for what we have now. And there's going to be food trucks coming in, there are going to be porta potties coming in, and that's going to increase the traffic significantly. There's also issue of trash. When there's a lot of, anyone who drives much on Pass Road realizes how much trash is deposited by the sides of the road. It's been said you could furnish an house from the things that get left there. Stoves, refrigerators, sofas, furniture, cars, boats, you name it, it's been left there. Parking is also a concern. That's going to be a lot of cars. There's only one way in or out. This raises public health and safety issues. As an outdoor venue, there will be drinking. It will be outside. It will be, since it's going to be, from what I understand, only an outdoor venue, people are going to bring their own drinks. This is going to end up being concentrated in the parking area. Drinking, smoking, fire danger, this is a real concern for those of us who live in the Buttes. With this many people, there are sure to be incidents. People will get sick, will need emergency response. The last time I was aware of an incident that required CPR in place, I counted almost 20 vehicles and emergency vehicles. It's hard to imagine them coming in and out on just this single.
Excuse me, if you could please finish up quick.
Yes, the Buttes are special. Those of us who live there know that. We feel very privileged to be there. We want to share them with the community. We think this is not the best way to do it. I'm sure we can come up with a better proposal that would allow the venue and the people who live there to enjoy the Buttes and as they are. It's a very valuable and unique community resource and asset, and we'd like to keep it that way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have two more speakers. The first one is Donnice Dawson.
Hi, my name is Donnice Davison. I live on Pass Road. I am Mike's neighbor. I'm not thrilled about this. I think that 850 people is quite a bit that has to be involved in this. I am not happy about the increased traffic. Who's going to manage it? Who's going to operate traffic control? Who's going to go by and clean up all the trash? We have a little lady that comes by and cleans up the trash. We pick up the trash bags. I donate trash bags to her. I mean, this is going to be a tremendous, tremendous impact on us, especially if they're throwing cups, bottles. I drive into my driveway every day and I have beer bottles, I have food containers, I have everything sitting in my front driveway. Even though I have private property, do not trespass, I still have people come and drive down my driveway, turn around or park in the middle of the driveway. I have people that hop my fence, go out in the pasture. Right now we don't have cattle, but we will, and it's dangerous. Rattlesnakes are a big concern of mine. I haven't killed any yet, but I average between 3 and 5 a year. And also, I think it would probably decrease property values because people that come out to the Buttes, they don't want to have a venue out there, or if they do, they don't want 850 people. 100 people, 200 people, that's just, it's still too many because I paid a lot of money for where I'm at. This is where I'm going to retire. I am retired, and this is where I'm going to die. My ashes are going to be spread over the Buttes, maybe. I don't know. But it's just too many events per year in the short time that it's allowed. Who's going to cover the taxpayers' money that they have to pay for the school that's going to allow the people to park their cars in the school parking lot and be bused to this venue? I mean, that's a liability for the county. It's a liability for all of us, and we have, who's going to pay for that? What's it going to do with wildlife? There's pigs, deer, everything coming across the roads right now, and it's nothing to drive down Pass Road and see a half a dozen dead pigs. And I've hit pigs. You know, you can't help it. There's raccoons, there's possums, and if they don't know what they're doing and know that there's a speed limit and you have to drive slow, somebody's going to get killed. Life flight, I've had in front of my house at least 3 times since I've lived there. And if you call Sutter County Sheriff's Department, no offense to them, they refer us to the CHP, which say, we have nobody available. And, you know,
Please,
you've got,
sorry to interrupt you, but please finish up.
okay. So, you know, it doesn't do us any good to, because we have no help. We have no help, and we don't need any more going on out there than what we already have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our last public speaker is Arlen Smith.
Hello. I want to make a couple of quick points. We know that the road is unsafe for the kind of traffic that would be going on it for an event like this. We also know that the people in the area do not want it. That's why the planners turned it down. There were reasons for that, good reasons. And we want to apply to the supervisors, hoping that you'll feel sorry or something. But the zoning is ag. We live with an 80-acre minimum. And you want to tell us, let's put a commercial business out there. The business we're talking about is a commercial business. There are other people who might want to jump on the tail of this commercial venture that would like to put in their own party house or party place or venue. Do you think that you can put this venue in, pass it, against the wishes of the people in the area, and not expect the other people who think that would be a good idea to do, not to do it? You are setting a precedent. It is not necessary. They can find another place that will suit just fine, perhaps up in the hills farther, where it wouldn't be 110 to 15 degrees in the summertime, or pouring down rain and too cold in the wintertime. You know when you can come out there and enjoy a day and an evening or whatever in the buttes? Late March, April, and early May. They want to do 16 events. How long will each of these events last? You have opened up in your record Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is this for one event? Or can they have the choice of a event, a night of these 4 nights in 1 week? Are they planning to do all these 16 events in those 3 short months? It's not going to work out, folks. It's the wrong thing to do. The planning department had it right. And for the supervisors to come in and go over their heads to okay this would not be a very good thing. And I would be very angry for the rest of my days, which might not be too long, but all the same. I want to enjoy the ones I have out there in the buttes that I love. And I don't want to have to listen to that project, and I don't want to have to deal with a dozen more wanting to go do the same thing. Thank you for your attention. Please do not vote yes on this.
Thank you.
We've received 4 more public comments for this item. The first speaker is Brian Davis.
Yes, I'm Brian Davis with the nonprofit Be Extra. And I do empathize with everything that was heard today. But how I want to turn it is to on the positive side, where some of our nonprofits in our local area would like to help out kids, churches, and that type of thing, where I know the 850 has been a number that's thrown out there, but I don't think every event will have 850 people. Also, as far as alcohol, typically the events that we would have at this venue that we would like to have would be non-alcoholic, where folks could be bussed in, that they talked about, for safety. As far as trash and that type of thing that will be going out there, we'll be responsible for keeping the area clean, safe, parking, and that type of thing too. So again, I empathize with everything that was heard, but there's also some other stuff that is out there coming from, again, the nonprofit world, where we would like to have fundraisers and that type of thing without having to go to Sacramento to be able to produce those, and we can keep everything right here within Sutter County. Thank you.
Our next public speaker is Liz Gates.
Hi, my name is Liz Gates. I just want to say I do also, as Brian said, empathize with all of the people opposed to this. However, you know, I have been doing wedding photography for a very long time. I've attended thousands upon thousands of weddings. All of the events that I've been to, they are very controlled. You know, they not only are they controlled, but they also bring in a lot of revenue. And I know to some people that's not what's important, and I understand, you know, the concern. However, you know, these things are happening. They're going to happen here or somewhere else. We might as well keep our dollars here. It's going to bring in business for vendors, opportunities for many, many, many people. So, you know, that's the way I look at it. As far as the alcohol, it's not really people bringing in alcohol themselves. Everything's controlled. You know, you hire somebody, you hire a professional, you get your licenses, you hire security. Porta potties, you know, as nice of a venue that it could be, it wouldn't be your plastic normal porta potties. You know, it'd be your luxury porta potties. It'd be upscale events. So when we're talking about upscale events, you know, we're not talking about, you know, loud thumping music that's going all night long. We're talking about just nice weddings with controlled vendors that control things. So as far as traffic goes, you know, I understand that concern as well. But I also do believe that the trash concern, with some of the people that would be involved in this, I feel like take a lot of pride in the community already. So the trash concern, I mean, it would absolutely be controlled, because a lot of the people that are saying yes to this are people that are highly involved in both Yuba and Sutter counties and keeping our community safe and clean already. So,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Amran B.
Hello, everybody. My name is Amran Bath, and to go with the residents of the Buttes, I hear everything you guys are saying, but it's not every single county that can say that they have a nationally recognized mountain range in their backyard. So I really do believe that this is an opportunity that can benefit all. Obviously, things take, you know, working together on, but things like this, an event like this, can also bring in conservation events. People will come in, rangeland, you know, wild animals, stuff like that. So I think that there's an opportunity here for everyone to be visualized, everyone to be taken care of, all at the same time. It's just about coming together and not saying why not or why yes. It's about how we can do it. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Our last public speaker is Jim Whitaker.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm Jim Whitaker. I'm with AIP Consulting, and I've been working with the applicant on this project. Really appreciate the county's work as well as the planning department. Planning department has presented to you a nice open project, and so it meets all the policies and the criteria that have been given to this project. And so here's my biggest thing is like when I tell people, and I tried to explain this at the planning commission, is that if you don't follow the policies and criteria that are set forth by the board, all right, then how are we supposed to get projects to the board of supervisors to be approved? If you don't like the project, personally, I can understand that, but you know, the planning commission, they're not elected officials. You are the elected officials. And so if someone doesn't like the policies that are currently being in place, and these are the rules that we all have to play by, then go about changing the policies. And then we'll adhere to those policies, whatever they are. But you can't tell my client to go ahead and put an application through, and the planning department goes and he pays all the fees and does all the studies, and then later on come back and say, well, you know what, we changed the rules in the middle of a game. That's just not right. My client is a good steward of Sutter, a good steward of the community, doesn't want to do anything detrimental to his property or any other surrounding properties around him, all right? He's looking forward, he's a farmer in the area. He farms walnuts and doesn't want to, he wants to continue farming those walnuts as well. This project, like I said, meets all the policies, but it also has a huge economic boost for our community. And that's why we looked at with Brenda Stranik, the Economic Development Corporation. I've had her run some numbers for you. So obviously this project can bring in, hopefully $1 million to this communities and businesses in this community and give them some sustainability as well. We all know that businesses are hurting in this time frame, but here we have a project that's going to help not only hotels, restaurants, convenience stores, hire local caterers, hire local photographers, and also hire landscaping as well, and also people in the wedding industry. So I just want to make sure that my client is given every opportunity to pass this. This is going to be a tremendous asset to this community. It's going to be well received. It's going to be done right. And as far as the traffic that people have stating on, we keep getting hung up on the 850 people. And you have to understand is that my client today could throw an event with 850 people and nobody could say a darn thing about it, okay? But here my client is willing to go through it the right way and come to before the board and go before the planning commission and say, hey, I want to do it the right way. And like I said, those events could be anywhere from 50 to 100, 250 people. It doesn't have to be 850. And so that's all we're asking for is some leniency. By the way, Jerry Handy came and spoke at the planning commission earlier, and he couldn't make it today, but he gave this project blessing saying that, hey, we need more venues like this in our region. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer anything.
Thank you, Jim.
We did receive one more public comment from Mike Smith.
Good afternoon. I'm the owner of the property, and I just wanted to let people know that there's not, caring about the buttes and the maintaining maintaining the property is something that's it's very important to me as well. My parents built this place, or their house out there over 20 years ago. I've been going there. My kids are 21. They've had every Christmas that they've ever had has been celebrated there. We plan to live there for indefinitely, and it's definitely not my intention to ransack anything. The concerns about noise, traffic safety, traffic volume, fire, all of these things have been negotiated and worked on for at great length with county staff, and they have been, I think, addressed. And a lot of the concerns that I'm hearing are, I think, misapprehension, and really a lot of it's unfounded. You talk about the noise. The requirement of the permit is to limit noise to 65 decibel at the property line. This is an agriculturally zoned area where you can have, a D10 Caterpillar driving along the property line at 115 decibel. 65 decibel within the time limits of when the 10 p.m. I believe it is a very low noise impact. The traffic volume and the traffic safety. This is a road that county staff has agreed can handle that capacity. It's far below the capacity of the roadway to handle the traffic that's out there. The parking is over. If you see the map, the plan view, is over 800 feet from Pass Road, and the trash would be collected on my property. It's not the case typically that people go to events and they stop along the road to throw out trash. The trash should be on my property and is going to be cleaned as a part of these events. And fire, we've heard from the fire chief and Meridian, the planning commission, or planning council meeting. Those concerns have been addressed. There is going to be access and there's going to be water for fire if that's necessary. So I just wanted to speak up since I'm sitting here and we're talking about a project, so I thought I would mention that I care about the buttes as well. And if I have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mike. Is there any more public comment? With that, we're going to close the public comment. We're going to bring it back to the board for discussion. I'm assuming who wants to go first?
Through the chair, I'd like to go first. So I just have some clarification questions, maybe Neil and possibly the applicant, just a couple of things. Just can you explain, first of all, why did the Planning Commission deny this? Because it was recommended by staff based on specific criteria, and then they denied it, right?
Right, yes. In the staff report, we listed some of the comments made by the planning commissioners after the public hearing portion. So they mentioned traffic impacts along Pass Road. They mentioned the existing road conditions. They mentioned ingress and egress concerns. They mentioned fire danger, emergency response times. That was brought up by the Meridian Fire Chief. Then the noise within the Sutter Buttes and the number of proposed guests.
Okay, but staff recommended this based on the application, correct, to be passed?
So staff and the department recommended this project to the Planning Commission based upon the application that was received through the department, and then it was revised over a number of resubmittals. And then the conditions of approval that were included in this project are included in your staff report are part of it. And I can highlight some of those items for you. So
yes, please, yeah, appreciate it.
So for example, the noise, so one of the mitigation measures, because a CEQA document had to be developed for this project, that had to be circulated to the state clearinghouse, which is 13 state agencies. It was also circulated within a number of county departments. But it spells out the conditions of the county's noise ordinance. So from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., you have to be less than 65 decibels.
Okay.
Right? And this project has the condition that if they want to seek to generate noise after that 10 p.m., they would have to come to our department and get a special approval, a zoning clearance to do so. So that is one issue related to the noise.
Just a question on that. So the decibel amount, does that include the ending time for whatever event happens, or is that just the noise level? So is there a limitation on the time a party, let's say, or a wedding?
So the county enforces it at 10 p.m., and I myself have personally been at event centers with the county's decibel meter, and I have enforced it.
Understood. Okay, thank you. You can finish the clarification.
Regarding transportation, so the commercial access driveways are required, and that's shown on the site plan. We require a traffic control plan, so prior to any scheduled events at the site, the applicant would have to develop and submit a traffic control plan that would show the routing of which how attendees would get to the venues. There were items included in the original application for traffic routes, but signage would have to be provided along those things to the satisfaction of our department before there could be an event. And then with each event, the department obviously would be able to monitor how the venue handled the proposed traffic. I think we saw from the site plan that the applicant provided a site plan that shows about 320 vehicles, and that works out to a proportion of the 850 attendees most. So we're not envisioning 850 vehicles. Expect there's an expectation that 2 to 3 people will come together. So the on-site parking is for about 320 parking spots. And so those automobiles obviously, would come and go during the time of the event. And then they would follow the traffic control plan with signage provided by the applicant. The county does not have to provide the signage.
Okay. Was there anything further on the conditions? Okay.
Those were the main conditions.
So a couple of just quick follow-up questions. So Arlen mentioned about the ag zoning, 80-acre ag zoning. Can you define how this project qualifies under that zoning, or how does it work?
So this project is seeking a use permit, which is a conditional use, either granted by the Planning Commission, or in this case, it can be appealed to your board. So it's a special use that either the Planning Commission or your board can allow within a certain zoning. Based on conditions of approval, based on an environmental document, the staff report cites a general plan policy that actually would allow an event center like this to occur in an ag zone. So there are county policies that allow it, and the department staff tries to analyze every project that's submitted based on the governing codes and regulations of the county. And then the planning commissioners and yourselves as Board of Supervisors can take other factors into account that, staff may not be aware of, or considerations that the public, we may not be aware of all the public concerns. For example, I myself personally have been to the Buttes at all hours of the day. I can understand it can be, quite peaceful and calming and serene. The county has a noise ordinance that applies throughout the county. So yes, an event is going to be, it's going to make more noise than is currently there, but that noise threshold was previously adopted by the county as being an acceptable noise, amount of noise during certain periods of time.
Okay, and then 3 of the public speakers talked about emergency access and public safety issues. I just want to know, have those been addressed appropriately?
So the applicant has not made any changes to their project through our department between the Planning Commission and this meeting, this public hearing with your board today. So they're seeking the project as originally proposed to the Planning Commission. For development services, when we originally circulated this project to all the other county departments, there was a different fire chief in the Meridian Fire Department. They did not respond with any comments. So we had no comments to concern. At the Planning Commission, Chief Stoddard spoke and issued, his comments and concerns. The appeal of the Planning Commission's decision was based on the project presented at the Planning Commission and that is what's being presented to your board. The staff report includes the language that comes from our zoning from our zoning code for an appeal that allows you to approve the appeal, right, deny the appeal, and in this case, you would authorize a use permit or seek to modify the project for approval.
Okay, great, thank you. And then just to the applicant, I have a couple of follow-up questions. Can I address you, Mr. Whitaker? So first, it was brought up about emergency access, and the applicant mentioned that emergency access has been addressed with the fire chief. Can you explain how that's been addressed?
Sure, Supervisor. What happened is that I didn't realize that Meridian Fire holds jurisdiction under this this venue. So we had Chief Sutter come out on one occasion and give us his input on what we needed to do to meet all the fire safeties for him. And you know, Chief Sutter's here today, and he can address those as well. But and then we had him come out the other day also and meet with the owner and address the issues that Chief Sutter had. So if you want to put them as one of the conditions, I believe my applicant, I believe the applicant, my client, would be willing to adhere to anything that the fire chief has to say.
Okay, Chief, do you mind if I ask you a follow-up question to that? Can you advise us in the audience what the conditions that you were looking for to change? Or
at this time, I'm asking for originally I was asking for a 20-foot fire lane leading from the main entrance all the way into the parking area, access to all the area, which they have, mitigation of weeds and so forth, disking to the back of the event center for a fire break, possible water sources. They have 2 ag wells that are pretty sufficient that would help us out, and we talked about that. The time to get there is about, you have us and Sutter who respond. That's an automatic aid for Sutter Fire Department. It's roughly 10 to 15 minutes, depending upon the direction we have to come. During the winter time, we have to come all the way down. When Lower Pass is closed, we'll have to come up 20 to West Butte and across, which is a much longer route versus coming Mawson to Pass. Okay. Sutter's pretty much same coming. They don't have any obstacles as far as road closures.
Did the applicant agree to adhere to all of those conditions that you just mentioned?
I feel they're willing to work with me on all the items. The only item we didn't agree on is the occupancy load.
The occupancy level, and what was the suggested occupancy level from you?
I believe the planning, I didn't have one, but the planning commission came up with I believe it was 463, and the way they came up with that number was by removing the entrance parking and the overflow parking. By reducing that, taking that out of it, it would reduce the number from 850 down to, I believe it was 463.
463. Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it. And then I just have one final question. I'm sorry to hoard this, but you know, I run planning department in another city, so it's just actually one of the planners is here that I used to work with. So I got to make sure I impress her with the questions. She taught me a lot. But I just want to make sure that I do have a question. So Dr. Skiles brought up, you know, maybe there's a way that we can work out something proposal, right? 16 events with 850 people. It just sounds like a lot, you know. I appreciate the clarification that's only 320 cars, so it's not 850 vehicles, so that's good. But would the applicant be willing, or Mike, would you be willing to like limit that to, you know, 4 or 5 of these events a year at that size and keep everything else like under 500? Or, I mean, I'm just asking because it does feel like a lot, you know.
So, Supervisor Flores, so, yeah, I understand what you're saying. So you're saying that because of the number of 850, and like I said before, I doubt we're going to use 850 a whole lot. But if you're saying that you give us 4, you know, I think the applicant's willing to compromise those things, and because obviously everybody, this is uncharted waters that we're going through, all right? And so But I would also ask that you show some leniency as well, that if we have, as our use, condition of our use permit, is that if we meet those thresholds, that we can come back at another time in a year or two and still reinstate what we've asked for before. Just so we're on the clarification of saying that, hey, we've done everything that you've asked of for 1 or 2 years now, and then we can look at it again at a different time and see if if we can increase those as well. I think that's fair enough.
Okay, and then did I hear you say you are willing to limit all the other events below? I'm just randomly picking a number, 500 people, or?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, those are the questions I have for right now, Mr. Chairman. Sorry to hoard the time, but.
Oh, no worries.
I used to have some property next to Dr. Skiles there up in the Butte, so.
All right.
To the chair?
Jeff, Supervisor.
Yeah, Neil, so when it first came to the Development Department and it was laid out to the Planning Commission, was it recommended by the Development Department to move this project forward?
Yes.
Okay. Next, I have another alternative method here. So if this Mike or Jim Whitaker's here today and speaking for him, but my question is if having owned that property without seeking this permit to put this many events on, could he not come and just get a permit to put an event on every once in a while?
Probably not to the number of attendees that he is seeking. I think when Mr. Whitaker made that comment, if he utilized it as a private venue, right, without charging, then that's what's allowed within the county's zoning code. If he were to make any commercial use, that's when he has to seek county's approval, and the kind of the permitted use and the process we have would not allow so many attendees.
Right. So we'd like be a limit of maybe 500 or something, right?
It would be dramatically lower than that.
Okay. So if he personally said, hey, I'm going to have a wedding up here for my niece or my nephew, he'd have to come down and get a permit, and you're going to say, but without this being put in, what are you going to say? You say how many people are going to be there?
So if he
maybe 400, we don't know.
So if he was doing a venue for a family member and utilizing his own family, and there was no commercial transaction,
right,
then that's allowed in the zoning code.
And does he have to have a permit for that?
No.
Okay. So in other words, if he went that route, we wouldn't even be discussing it here today. Basically.
Correct.
Okay. And then Mr. Whitaker, I overhearing what Supervisor Flores had to say about coming in with maybe a smaller limit, 500, 400. Maybe if we did decide to put this through, maybe we come in at a smaller number, we give it a shot for a couple of years, see how it works out, and then should a time come where we need to have a larger event, then he would have to approach, Neil, he'd have to approach you for a special permit on top of that? If we limited it today to, let's say, 400 or 500, and he had a big event, let's say they had a big nonprofit, Be Extra was out there, and they wanted to bring in 500, 600, they didn't know how many. Might have been 800, they don't know. They invited maybe 1,000 and 800 shows, maybe only 500 shows. If it was planned on being over the 500 limit, would he have to approach you about getting a special permit for that event?
He'd have to come to the department and get a use permit. The county's current application process wouldn't allow that many attendees for a single event.
Okay. All right. I think that pretty much answers my questions. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Supervisor.
I just have a question back for the chief. Can you go back to the number of attendees that you requested? Was it 362 or something?
I didn't have an initial. I don't know what that would be. I know that the number that the Planning Commission talked about was 463.
463.
I look at it as anything over 100. The potential is always there, period. And my job is public safety, whether it be the citizens of Meridian District, the citizens of Sutter County, citizens of Yuba City, anybody who's visiting that facility. My job is public safety to make it as safe as possible for everyone that attends. And so I don't have a personal or a department number. That was just the number that the planning committee came up with, and I was agreeable with it.
So I guess this goes back to the applicant, and maybe Neil, you could help me go through this, because to me it seems that this meets the county's requirements for a venue as long as we come to an agreement with what the conditions are going to be. And so rather guessing what that number is, if you guys from both of those mics could figure out what it is so we can move forward with recommendation.
Right, so through clarification to Supervisor Baines, so from the Planning Commission, the number that was kind of, I'll say, just finalized, there was some talk, it turned out to be 530 attendees, and that was based on the ratio of the number of parking, and that was primarily done by, correct me if I'm wrong, through the applicant, but that was removing the parking that's shown on the driveway into the property. There's 89 spots that are shown, for example, and I think they reference some other parking areas. But reducing the parking along the driveway is what provided the 20-foot clear path that Chief Stoddard spoke about. That was discussed in the Planning Commission. I was part of that discussion with the commissioners. But that was a way to provide greater access to the driveway. And you can see on the site plan that's shown, it calls out 89 spots. I think but overall with the Planning Commissioners, the number that was talked about and settled on was 530 guests. You as your board, you can, obviously discuss another number, but the reduction of no parking along that main driveway into the property is what began to lower the attendee count to the venue.
Well, go back to this number is because if they don't comply, that's obviously that you can revoke the permit at any given time. So instead of us guessing what that number is going to be, I'd like to hear a hard number that both the applicant and our chief and development services all agree upon. So once that first complaint comes in and you say, oh my gosh, I counted that there was 501 people there, then you could do what you need to do.
For sure, and I'll just say, so for example, if there was not parking along the main driveway into the property, the applicant, would have to agree to this condition because it's different than was originally proposed. But one that's very easy to check, should county staff come to the venue during an event, that we can check and make sure there's no one parked there, and that preserves the 20-foot traveled way in and out of the property that the Chief Stoddard, the fire chief, was seeking for the venue. And that was the reasoning, like I say, for the reduction.
All right, thank you, Neil. Moving on to Supervisor Stevens.
Yes, a few points I'd like to make. One is venues are what brings communities together. And I've been out at that facility looking at it. One thing, if you haven't been out there or seen the property, it's not really in the buttes. It's right at the base of the buttes is what I recollect. It's on flat ground. It's easy access from the road. Beautiful home, beautiful area for the event. There's no houses around it. I think the closest one, if I'm not mistaken, is about a mile and a half away. So it's not like it's going to be really right in the middle of something. It shows off the buttes. I've heard all my life that, about the restrictions of the buttes, not having access to the buttes. Well, this isn't really in the buttes, but it really shows it off. It's a beautiful area. It's going to be great. Another thing, and it's not being talked about a lot here, it has no buildings, so in August, September, July, it's 110 degrees. They're not going to be having events. In the wintertime, they're not going to be having events unless they put up a tent, either way. So the 16 events, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't happen. I don't see a whole bunch of large events going on with no facility. It's a beautiful open area. What are those other things? And I really like that the applicant did it the right way. We're always hearing things that are done the wrong way. He's done it the right way. I don't see why, by doing it the right way, it's been okayed by the county, that he should have problems, because it's a great location for an event center or venue center, and our community needs it for tax revenue, for, we just heard earlier about all the financial troubles we have. We need more of them. I love it when I go to an outside event or outside area and see a wonderful event center or venue. It's something to be proud of. It's something that we all can be proud of, and we have these buttes here, and we should use them. Thank you.
All right. All right, sorry. All right, I guess I'm the last speaker. Okay. So my responsibility is to listen both sides, on behalf of the applicant and on behalf of the community. I've spent so much time on this issue, talking with neighbors, talking with the fire departments from both sides, and with all due respect to Meridian, I'm going to mainly talk to Sutter Fire Department because we're your mutual aid from 5:01 to 8 in the morning or 7:59. We're the ones that are getting called out there. And I've been driving the buttes for 30 years. I was a volunteer firefighter a long time ago. All right, I love the buttes. I mean, I believe that buttes should be shared with everyone for the most part. It's a beautiful place. But at the same time, like I said, I have to reach out and I got to talk to neighbors. And it's pretty astonishing because sometimes you don't really have to talk to neighbors to actually know what goes on in the buttes. And the fact that when I drive through the buttes and I see a mailbox ripped off or see a white fence broken down or I see peel-out marks all over the place or the bottles and so forth. I mean, I believe we spend on average between $20,000 and $60,000 a year cleaning up graffiti and stuff up in the buttes anyways along Pass Road. It's crazy. Loud noise. They're going to be calling me in the evening time about the loud noise. They're not going to be calling you or Mr. Smith. They're going to be calling Mike Ziegenmeyer, the Sutter County Supervisor for District 3. They already called me. Matter of fact, it was about a year ago. It was about 11:38 on Easter Sunday. I received a call for an event center in town. They called me, and I said, I'll call dispatch for you, but here's their phone number. And one thing is I look at the future picture of things. Presidency. What happens when the next event center wants to go in? And the next one, and the next one. What are we supposed to do then? And I agree with you. I voted for an event center in the town of East Nicholas last year because they said it was a public safety issue. And I went down there with the fire chief and I couldn't find anything that was anywhere close to the public safety issue. But then I was not very happy so I voted for this center. And then to find out that from the neighbors that certain things are going on that were not supposed to happen. And that's on us at the county and our departments to go back and make sure that those things are getting ran like they should be. But there's a lot of accidents happen in the buttes. I mean, I could ask either one of these fire departments about the accidents and they can't deny them. You can talk to the neighbors. I know 2 individuals that have passed away in the buttes on Pass Road, traffic accidents. I know individuals that have had individuals pass away in horrific accidents in front of their properties, and they'll never be the same. Now, accidents can happen anywhere, all right? That's the truth. That's a fact. But the fact is, for some reason, along this stretch of roads, it seems to be like there's more accidents. I don't know if it's the shoulder on the road or but it's guys they drive so fast through them buttes. It's unbelievable. And we wish we could have so many sheriff deputies on the road, but at this very moment, we probably have 3 or 4, maybe 4 deputies patrolling between Live Oak and Riego Road. That is it. So for me, talking with the neighbors, I have spoken to neighbors that are supportive, but for the most part, and all the neighbors that live along that road, they do not want to see this center happen. And they have a long served in some sort of safety department, and they have seen the accidents that have occurred along Pass Road. But like I said, it goes back to it's tough because it is their property, and I do want to see economic growth and revenue. But at the same time, I wish this was somewhere else in another area that we just, for some reason, we see these historically accidents happen too many times in the Buttes. I mean, whether they're even right along there on Pass Road where it turns into Acacia. There was a Jeep roller not too long ago because people going around that turn. But I'm just curious, like Chief of Meridian, what is your take on the accidents? I wish that our ex-interim Chief Epperson was here to speak on this.
So vehicle accidents are going to happen whether you have an event center or not. I'll put it that way. I've had 3 on Mawson and Pass and Westby right there. They're going to happen. You're not going to stop them. But I will say this, comment was made that's not the Buttes. I'm sorry, that is the Buttes.
We know it's the
Buttes. It's a rolling
Buttes.
hill, but you don't get it. It's an open canyon, and that is a fire danger. It's a watch out for us when we're on wildland fires. That is a wildland area, and I'm not against these people. And they're working with me to mitigate all the fire issues. But please be informed what that is there. And as far as vehicle accidents, yeah. And I keep hearing about how it's going to give to the community. What's it doing for Meridian? There's no income for it. Nothing. If anything, it's going to hit me potentially with more calls, which means I have to even work harder now trying to find funding for staffing. And it's going to hit Sutter Fire Station, if that's what it is. And again, I can't say it's going to be that. I live in the world of probabilities. The more you have, the more probable it's going to happen. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, when the disaster, whether it be large or small, happens, it's the people that approved it are going to be looked at and held accountable. But I've voiced my concerns with them. I think they're willing to work with me. I know that the public out there, they're not happy with it, but I'm not a citizen of that area.
Well, the comment, sorry, I don't know if it was a comment. My question, I have a question is, there's talks about changes and so forth. I wish personally, when I read this and I read the first report, I wish that this would have gone back to the commission with some changes and compromised somewhere there and facilitated meetings with the neighbors, all the neighbors, because it's going to affect them. It's not going to affect, hey, I'm just the complaint department. I'm the guy they're going to call to complain on, but I live over on 3rd Street. So I'm going to go talk to the neighbors that live on the street, coming right out of there on occasion. I'm going to ask them, hey, this is what's proposed. You thumbs up, you thumbs down. You know, do your due diligence. Hey, I work for you. So at the same time, I work for Mr. Whitaker and I work for Mike Smith, who owns the property. So I got to look at both sides. So my question was, like I said, why couldn't this get back? I think this is mainly goes back to Jim too. Why couldn't this go back to the Planning Commission? But that's my question and really worked on so we can somehow, I'd love to be able to get some sort of unity here in something that works for everyone.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
So again, I just need some help with setting the conditions for this. There's a number of events, the occupancy level, and the other conditions that are put on by the fire. Can you guys, between the 3 of you, tell me what your number of events per year is and what the occupancy level you're thinking of, so we could make some kind of proposal or.
So through Supervisor Baines, I mean, our department, yes, can propose the parking, and we can clarify some things on the site plan that will, I think, maybe help from that matter, the number of events.
I just sounded like the chief just had some concerns with, staffing and the amount of calls he's going to get out there. I mean, is the number of events, is that an issue or is that not an issue?
It might not be an issue at all. I don't know. I mean, I would have to go look at the event centers in the county right now, the smaller ones, and see what's the call volume they're getting. And it might be low, it might be high, I don't know.
Through the chair. Mr. Chairman, Butte Star Ranch Blue Star Ranch has not received any calls from any fire services, okay? Munger's Winery has not received any calls for any fire service or any ambulance service as well. And they provide alcohol at their venues as well, so.
No, I'll answer that because I think I don't like to speak about other people's venues when it comes to like the complaint calls and so forth. That is, well, like I said, my intuition is I wish you guys could take it back to the Planning Commission, work on something that would be a unity up here, everyone together there's got to be something that everyone could figure out together. So I just think from right now, from my perspective, from people that are a heck of a lot smarter than I am, that have lived there a lot longer, just say the same thing. Mike, I think you're just, bad things are going to come of this with the possibility of accidents and so forth. Example, I sat on Pleasant Grove Road last year, and it was about 10:39. I see these cars flying by. I said, what's going on? They said, it's like this every Saturday night after someone leaves the amphitheater. They cut down 40, they hit Pleasant Grove Road because they hit Sutter County. And you'll see a mailbox ripped off, a white picket fence, because they hit that. They're not going to stop and say, hey, I knocked out your mailbox, or just get back on the road and go. So, hey, public safety is my number one concern. Scares the heck out of me. I just want to make sure that everyone's safe. And accidents can happen anywhere. All right? You're right about that. But for some reason, that little road gets people going pretty darn fast. And they just like to take the back road to Calusa or whatever. I think Mike Smith has something to say there.
Pass Road out there is used as a racetrack, basically.
Yes.
And that is separate and apart really from, a use of my property as a gathering place. They, and the other people here Nisi can speak to that. And that's a big contributor, I'm almost certain, of a higher incidence of accidents. There's people that set up a couple miles from West Butte and then set up on West Butte, and they make sure the coast is clear, and they race up and down that section of Pass Road at 100 plus miles an hour all the time. And that's a big contributor to why there's in addition to it's a curvy road, and it's can be difficult to negotiate, but that's a single factor you should probably consider. It doesn't really have anything to do with people going out to an event. They're not going to be racing out there. I thought I'd bring that up.
And I appreciate you bringing that up because I've reached out to CHP as well. Supervisor Baines, did you have something?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the applicant's request for a use permit, reminding them that if they don't abide by the conditions that are set forth, that it will be revoked, and ask that the fire chief please state your conditions. I mean, you mentioned the 20-foot fire lane, the access to all area, the water sources, the occupancy level being at 500 or under. And if you're fine with the number of, I heard 12 events, then I heard 16 events. I mean, if you could just state what it is, and I'll echo that in a motion so we can move forward.
Supervisor Banks, can we still have those, what was previously suggested by Supervisor Flores, at least have those 3 or 4 850 events as part of that motion? I mean, we are willing to compromise that. We're not asking for 16 events of 850. But
So I'll lean on the chief to answer that question if he wants to give you his 1 or 2 or whatever, depending on his concerns, what his
with all due
thoughts are.
respect, sir, the chief did not turn in the application, okay? My client and I did. And so I asked for, I'm willing to work with you as far as giving you some leniency and obviously compromise some things, but.
So how about 12 events a year, 2 of them being capped out at 850?
3. 3, you got a deal. This is better than Shark Tank.
Hold on for a second. Hold on. With all due respect, we're not asking. right now. So I'm going to listen to Supervisor Baines right now and hear what he has to say. We're not negotiating. What I'm getting at is you state your motion. I feel like we're getting out of hand here.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to approve this applicant's request for a use permit. Again, reminding them that if they don't comply, that it will be revoked. With the conditions that from our fire chief, the 20-foot lane access to for the parking, the 2 water sources, the occupancy, the number of events being 12 a year, 9 of them being under 500, and 3 of them being 850 or under.
I'll second.
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
No, just remember the presidency, what you're doing.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to item number 18.
Public hearing to consider project number U24-0023 Harry Ford, a request to rescind a development rights agreement to return development rights on a 115.49 plus or minus acre agricultural remainder parcel in the Agriculture Sutter Buttes Overlay District.
So through the chair and supervisors, Luis Enrique, our assistant planner, will present this item to you.
Thank you, Luis Enrique Hernandez, assistant planner. Good afternoon, chair and members of the board. The project before you is a request to rescind a development rights agreement on a 115-acre agricultural remainder parcel, which would allow for the construction of a single-family residence. The parcel is zoned Ag SB with a general plan designation of Ag 80. The project is located south of Pass Road and is cultivated with walnuts and olives. The parcel surrounds the property owner's homesite parcel that's approximately 2 acres with an existing single-family residence. Access to the property is provided via an easement connecting to Pass Road, as the parcel does not have direct frontage on a county-maintained road. All surrounding parcels are similarly designated Ag 80 and are zoned Ag SB with some F-Park zoning to the south and west of the property. In 2003, the Planning Commission approved a tentative parcel map to divide a 117-acre parcel into a 2-acre homesite parcel and a 115 remainder agricultural parcel. As a part of that approval, a development rights agreement was entered and recorded on the remainder agricultural parcel to prohibit additional residential development consistent with the general plan policies. The applicant submitted a request in August of 2024 to rescind that agreement to allow construction of a residence on the agricultural parcel. The project was previously considered by the Planning Commission in October of 2024, where a recommendation of denial was made. The Board of Supervisors later remanded that project back to staff to complete environmental review and further analysis. The project proposal will allow for an additional residence on the agricultural remainder parcel. However, under the Ag 80 general plan designation and Sutter County zoning code, only 1 primary residence is permitted per 80 acres. Allowing the additional residence would exceed the permitted residential density and would not be consistent with the general plan policies related to ag land use. An initial study was prepared per the direction of the board in accordance with the CEQA guidelines, and a mitigated negative declaration was prepared with mitigation measures to reduce the impacts to less than a significant level. However, because staff is recommending denial of the project, the CEQA does not apply pursuant to section 15270 of the CEQA guidelines, which exempts projects that are rejected or disapproved by a public agency. The project was brought before April 2026 Planning Commission, who recommended denial of this project by a 2-2 vote. Although it was a tie vote, the recommendation to approve the project required a majority vote of the commission attendance. The applicant's representative, spoke at the meeting, and no members of the public spoke either for or against the proposal. Staff is recommending that the Board of Supervisors deny project U240023 Hereford based on the findings outlined in the staff report, as the project is not consistent with the Sutter County General Plan or zoning code. I will answer any questions at this moment.
We're going to open up the public comment first. Is there any public comment? We're going to close the public comment, bring it back to the board for direction.
The chair?
Yes, sir.
I have a question. I'm looking at these parcels just to the north of this personal property. And what are those? Are those like Ag 20? What are those parcels there just north of it? Above this proposed parcel?
All parcels north and east and west are Ag 80.
I understand they're Ag 80, but I see several parcels there.
So they would be, Supervisor Boone, they'd be non-conforming parcels. So when the county made the Ag 80 designation, there were parcels within those regions that were smaller than 80 acres. Therefore, it's termed a non-conforming parcel. So those parcels cannot be subdivided under the current Ag 80 designation.
Okay.
All right. All right. Where do you close? We already opened it. We closed it. There was no public comment. Is there a public comment?
We did receive a public comment after you closed the public comment period.
Oh, no, please speak.
Jim Whitaker.
Jim Whitaker, AIP Consultants. Just my clients basically just want to stay in the farming community, and they just want to farm. Their son wants to stay in the farming and live on the ranch that they've had for since when, Tiff? 1997. So they're not going anywhere. They are longtime farmers in the community, very well respected. They're not going to do anything detrimental to the land. And so when they were approved in 2003, 2002 for their home site, it was on special circumstances, and they met the requirements then. So I don't know why they're not meeting the requirements now. So.
To the chair?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to clarify. So this is for a family, an opportunity for a family to build their own, same family?
Yes.
It's not going to be something they're going to build to automatically sell.
No.
This is just something kind of like everybody putting the AD.
Would you mind if, so, because this will answer it, because a lot of this happens in, I shouldn't say a lot of it, because I love it. I love the fact that your son wants to come back here and work on the ranch. I love the fact that when you look along, you look at some of these big ranches, and it's tough for these kids that want to come back and grow up in the ranch. Yes, I believe that that's, being able to split part of the ranch, because we have to do that, vote on it, to allow them to live in that. If you go down Malott Road, you will see there's a family of so many acres. They all split and they all live there. They're not building to sell. They're not building to resell. They're building to live forever, to be part of that. And I'm so glad that he has decided to come back and do that. So, not a lot of kids are fortunate enough to be able to say, here's the ground. We'll work on splitting it. Be able to take part in the farming operation.
Through the chair. So, Neil, why are you, just because the only reason you're recommending we don't do this is because it goes against our plan? Is that correct?
Correct. So when the department reviews an application, and that's why we previously brought it before the Board of Supervisors as what's termed a quick denial, is upon the initial application before the applicant has spent, a considerable amount of money, we looked at it, and when they previously developed the project and the property, they signed a document that forfeited their development rights to have any other residential property or residential structures on the property. And they are now, they've come back around and they have a reason as to why they want to do that. The department recommended to the Planning Commission denial. The Planning Commission, made their recommendation to your board as denial. That's based upon the conditions and the requirements that are in the county zoning code. You, as the Board of Supervisors, have discretion for other circumstances to be considered. But we as staff have to process all of our applications within the confines of the zoning code. And we don't, we don't have the opportunity to have latitude among that. And it's very clear about development rights and what they're for.
So this is deja vu from a meeting we had maybe a year ago regarding a parcel there where a family member wanted to build a home on an 80-acre parcel, and there was already another parcel or another house there. So we had talked about possibly changing ordinance or the zoning area. Is there any progress on that?
So staff is prepared a presentation for an upcoming study session that we can talk about development rights in the county, because there are some different scenarios. This one is a little bit different, and it's unique in that it'll all be within one parcel is what's being proposed by the applicant. And they previously have received, other, we'll just say, variances and latitude from county standards in order to develop this property.
Well, I, along with Supervisor Mike, believe that if a child or someone wants to come build a house on the farm, I sure hate to have them not be able to.
To the chair? Yeah, so if they had a proposed site for a second home, would that be considered a second parcel on that property? Or would that just be a second home on the same parcel?
So they're proposing to put a second home on the parcel. They're not subdividing it because the issue they have is that it's 115 acres in Ag 80. So they can't subdivide it and have two 80-acre parcels, right? So the county zoning code doesn't allow them to subdivide it. Consequently, they're not seeking to build a 1,200 square foot ADU, which would be authorized, permitted, and would be a different process. They're seeking to have the authority to build a residential structure. They'll have to, depending on your board's decision, they would then have to seek the approval and a permit for the required septic and/or well system.
So if their son wanted to build this house on this property, they're going to have to sign another agreement that they're not going to be able to develop again?
No, the action before your board is to waive the development rights agreement and...
For the whole property?
Right.
So that they could build several homes?
Yes.
Is there any way we can, well, that's not what's before us, I guess.
Through the chair, real quick, I just want to mention some. So you're going to get a structure out there regardless, all right? So what county is saying is that my client could live in an ADU at 1,200 square feet, or we could approve this housing as being proposed. Either way, there's going to be a structure out there. So whether it's 1,200 or 2,500, there's a structure out there. So that's something you have to look at. Second thing is that we pulled this item in 2024 based on the advice from Neil Hay at the time, saying, hey, if you wait 3 months, I'm going to be bringing something to the board, and it will probably help your project tremendously. It'll come back with a favorable review. And today, we're here right in front of you today, and it's not coming back as a favorable review.
Through the chair?
Yes, sir.
I just want to make a motion to go and allow them to build the home. I'll make that motion.
So we got the motion, we got the second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
All right, moving on to item number 19.
Approval to award a construction contract for the fiscal year 2025-26 road striping project in the amount of $525,786.25 to Crisp Company. Authorization for the Director of Development Services to execute the contract, and authorization for the Director of Development Services to execute change orders in an amount not to exceed $50,039 as specified in Public Contract Code Section 20142.
Good evening, Chair and Supervisors. So this item, previously your board approved the plans and specifications so we could put it out to bid. Subsequently, we put the project out to bid, and we have a bid award that we want to recommend to you. It's coming before you as an appearance item because we sought the approval to bypass the Public Works Committee in order to bring it to your board so that the work, should it be approved, it could begin as soon as possible. This will stripe a number of critical county roads that need striping. One of them you may recall from the previous presentation. It includes Township Road, which our department has received a number of concerned citizens regarding, driving in the dark because the striping is worn. So that the full 3 miles of that from Clark to Penn is included in the bid package, as well as any other roadways. We would expect the work to be done probably by the end of July at the latest. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We're going to open up the public comment. See no public comment, bring it back for the board of discussion. Notice.
To the chair. Yeah, Neil, I appreciate you recognizing Township Road. We've several complaints. There's not much left out there but a blacktop and some shoulders. So I'd like to make a motion to approve.
All right, we got a motion and we got a second by Supervisor Stevens, it looks like. And can we get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores? Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye. Thank you, Neil. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Approval of an advanced step hiring request for a deputy sheriff LPO 40 at salary step 6 for the Sutter County Sheriff's Department.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. Veronica Baumgartner, HR Director. I am coming before you today with an advanced step request from the Sheriff's Department for a sheriff deputy. As you may know, finding lateral candidates with years of experience is very rare. Each recruitment typically attracts only a limited number of candidates as is. And within that, most of them are very entry level, either coming right out of the academy or only having, a year or two of experience. The Sheriff's Department currently has 9 openings for deputy sheriffs, and 3 current deputies are tentatively scheduled to leave in June. The candidates' prior experience in training, field training, and being able to independently perform, these tasks as a solo deputy is very important. The candidate brings more than 8 years of law enforcement experience and would provide valuable knowledge, skills, and a really good transition into the department. So we are requesting a step 6 advanced step. And the monthly cost of that would be, it is general fund, but due to current vacancies and sufficient salary savings in their budget, they are able to cover the monthly cost, which is approximately $1,870.
Through the chair.
Hold on, we're going to open up the public comment. No public comment. Close public comment, bring it back. Yes, sir.
Move approval of the recommended
We
action.
got a motion and we got a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Veronica. And we're going to move on to our CAO. Take it away.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Supervisors. Just wanted to mention the Sutter County Library is currently holding a Scholastic Book Fair at the Yuba City branch now through June 10th. Every purchase helps support library programs and services so you can find great books while supporting your local library. And then there's the 2026 Law Enforcement Torch Run coming to Yuba and Sutter counties this Friday, the 29th. The Torch Run brings together law enforcement and community members from across the state to support Special Olympics Northern California. We encourage the public to come out along the route to cheer on our runners or consider donating to support this cause. More details on that can be found on the Sutter County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to bring it back to the supervisors for district reports. Start out with Supervisor Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know that you're going to speak about Mike, so I'm going to let you do that. So do that. Mike Backus, who passed away, he was one of the principals with the Racket Club, but I know that you had that plan, so I have no further comments for tonight. Thank you.
All right, move on to Supervisor Stevens.
Okay, I also was wanting to close in honor of Mike Backus, but I'll let you speak to that. I went to two beautiful memorials over the last weekend regarding the bus crash of Yuba City back in 1976. They were both very well attended, and I was a junior in high school when that happened, and it will forever impact me. And I just thought that our area did a really good job, and they also had one down in, where was it, Martinez. And then I also attended the Punjabi American Heritage Society event. I was not even aware that went on. It's been going on for like 30 to 32 years, I believe. And if you haven't had the opportunity, it's a wonderful day of just dancing and singing and the colors. It was very well done, and I would encourage anybody to attend next year. And I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Boone?
I have nothing to report.
Supervisor Baines?
You're going to close in honor of Mike. So,
Oh, yeah, well,
all right, so I just encourage everybody to vote. If you haven't already voted, get out there and vote. Vote.
All the supervisors mentioned Mike Backus, and we want to make sure that we send a nice letter of condolences to his family. You know, he was part of the community Racket Club. I knew him, each one of my kids. My son went to school with his son. My daughter went to school with his son through little kindergarten up. So great guy, always around at these events. It's very sad, very tough. You know, life is so short. Our prayers are with his family, Liz and Phoenix and Weston. And then want to close in memory of Jackie Bryan, who passed away recently. And other than that, I think that's it. All right, so we have two closed sessions. All right, so we are going to go into closed session. So those of you that are not part of the, in the know, have to leave.
There are two closed sessions. The first closed session is conference with labor negotiators Linda Durer and Veronica Baumgardner, employee organizations, POA and DSA, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. And the second closed session is evaluation of public employee, position title County Administrator, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, subsection B.